Servus Männer, it's Red Pill Germany again. I thought I would use this magnificent sight of this snowy forest here to talk a little bit more about the current health situation in Germany. There is a very interesting fact that was revealed a couple of days ago that I want to share with you. And that is that in Bavaria, and I think in Hamburg too, they were, let's say, collecting the numbers in a very strange way. We are being told at the well, for a long time already, that it is only the people, or predominantly the people, who are unjabbed, or how should I call that, who have, in other videos I said, who haven't received the blessings of the pharmaceutical industry. I think you know exactly what I mean. It is those people that refuse this medical treatment who are responsible for propagating this current disease and for infecting their fellow men and so on, who are a danger to society. But if you follow all the rules and all the suggestions of our establishment, then no problem. And their key argument was always that if you look at hospitalizations, then the number of unjabbed people in there with symptoms is much larger by comparison than the number of patients who were nice and who followed all the rules and who got their boosters and so on. However, in Bavaria, and I must stress this, Bavaria is one of the largest states with a high incidence at the moment. Sure, Thuringia and Saxony have a larger incidence, that is a infection count per capita or per 100,000 people in the last 7 days. That is a weird measure that they use. But Bavaria is in population much bigger. It has a much larger population. Therefore, Bavaria is a very important state at the moment for deriving these numbers, these metrics, these indicators. And it just turns out, and this is the key information of this video, that imagine that there are people in the hospital with symptoms and they have a positive PCR test or whatever. Now, these symptoms might be from the virus or not. We don't really know. But then the hospitals, they ask the patients, hey, what is your jab status? Have you 1 shot, 2 shots, 3 shots, or none at all? And in some cases, the patient says what their status is, or they can prove it with some sort of document. And in some other cases, the patient cannot prove it, or they just don't want to reveal it. They don't want to disclose that, okay? Or the hospitals don't ask. Or in any case, we don't have this information. And it turns out that during certain weeks, recent weeks in Bavaria, the percentage of the people where they don't have any information about their jab status was 70%. Now, what did these clever bureaucrats in Bavaria, what did they do? I think you guessed it already. They counted all the patients where they have zero information as unjabbed. Yes, and this is how they produced, I should say, this artificial discrepancy or this overblown ratio of people with positive tests in hospital beds that did not get the jab. Okay, and then they were talking all the time, and especially the governor of Bavaria, Markus Söder, he was talking all the time about a pandemic of the unjabbed and all that stuff, whereas there is no danger once you take the injection, then you're safe, you have complete safety and impossible, blah, blah, blah. Of course, a couple of people with pre-existing conditions. It's so interesting how the pre-existing conditions, they become relevant exactly when they need it to. Yeah? Exactly when it furthers their narrative. Then the pre-existing conditions are important. And that is, of course, people with full protection who are hospitalized or who even die from it. Yeah? Then the pre-existing conditions. And when I say die from it, yeah, I think you can assume both options to be relevant here, yeah? Both from the protective measure and from the thing it is said to be protecting us from, both alike, yeah? Whenever someone dies from that or in short succession afterwards, a short time afterwards, yeah, then the pre-existing conditions, then they will be accounted for and they will be quoted and they will be used as some sort of something to downplay it, right? but the other thing, yeah, then pre-existing conditions, what? Never heard of that, yeah. So that means in Germany and in Bavaria specifically, but that Bavaria has a huge weight at the moment statistically for Germany in that context. They absolutely, I think, committed outright fraud. Yeah, they were counting 70% of the people where there is no information as group A, which is no jab, and they were only counting the people as jabbed where they had proof of it. Now, they didn't make three groups like Group A, Group B, and unknown, or Group C. No. They just lumped all of the unknowns into bucket one. And that is, of course, outright fraud. And when some people in the German media who still have some semblance of a spine were asking in disbelief, what the hell were you doing? This is not correct, yeah? And there are not many people who do this right now, but one of them did, at least that I know of. And then the authorities and the governor in Bavaria, they were just, like looking at them in disbelief. What do you mean fraud? I mean, this is a standard procedure. This is how you do. I mean, I don't think there is anything wrong with the way that we. It's so funny. Like they were caught. They were caught committing this fraud, and they just shake their head and like, what are you talking about? Isn't that the way you do it? I mean, isn't that correct? Unbelievable. And this is not the first time they do that. I reported on information, on news, where they admitted that they don't even know how many people in Germany are jabbed and how many people are unjabbed, because they have certain quotas, certain targets that they want to fulfill, and that was one of the reasons why they were amping up the the pressure or the measures, the punitive measures, I would say, like locking people up, lockdowns and contact bans and all that stuff. They were doing that in reference to, or they were, they were justifying this by saying, "Oh, the numbers are too low. We need higher jab rates." Yeah. But then they admitted that they don't even know the jab rate, that they mostly guessed it, yeah? And I don't know if this situation has been ameliorated, if we know more about it, or the data has a higher quality now, or if they're still just guessing. I have no idea. I haven't followed up on that, but at that time, back then, you can look it up, must have been 2 months ago or something when I reported about that, maybe a little longer. They admitted that they have no clue whatsoever. And now, not only that they have no clue, they just lump those numbers all together to make it look like that everyone in the hospitals, or the predominant number of people in the hospital right now with these symptoms and with the positive test, would be quote unquote unprotected, yeah? Who refuse the offered protection from the industry and from the state, yeah? Which is of course not true. The most people, and I read the number 70% in certain weeks, 70% we have no data, no statement was given. It is completely unknown what their medical status in that regard is, if they have received the injection or not. We just don't know. All right, so that is what I wanted to share with you. Quite scandalous, but it's not a big scandal. It's not treated like a scandal in Germany. It is only like in some Telegram groups, some non-conformists, some renegades who are against the government and who are non-conformist types, right? They treat it as the scandal it is, and all the normies they don't even think that is a problem. It's just amazing how Germany has changed. This is clear fraud. It is not only in an academic or statistic sense technically wrong. No, this is outright fraud. That's what it is. And the majority of journalists and the politicians and The public, for the most part, treats it like just another Tuesday. That doesn't change anything. Come on, it's a little technicality. Doesn't change the big picture. Big picture. Focus on the big picture. Yeah, the big picture. 70%. We have no idea, and this is fraud. All right. Talk to you again next time. Servus, Männer. Or Kameraden. Servus, Kameraden. Wow, it's getting cold. Bye bye.